Do you have many people come to your website?
No. My mum comes. My mum comes to see what I've written. No, okay. We're going to talk about climate change.
Yay! With the real heavy topics, we're getting the ball rolling.
Okay. Maybe jumping point. Coalition scrapped the Climate Commission, amongst a few other things. And, so...
after 48 hours, he really got off the mark quick there, didn't he?
This is from the Australian. So the Climate Commission has been scrapped and billions of dollars in renewable energy funding effectively frozen as the Abbott government moves swiftly to wind back Australia's climate change response as promised. And Professor Tim Flannery, he's out of a job. Apparently he was earning $180,000 a year, which isn't... And it's a part-time role too. And he's told Australian abolishing the publicly funded body was government's prerogative, but he would not be silenced. Apparently,
fighting words they are.
He intends to continue working to make sure that the Australian public has all the information it requires in order to engage with this issue and understand what needs to be done. And this is after, the new Environment Minister, Greg Hunt, phoned Professor Flannery yesterday morning to deliver the news in what he described as a civil discussion. And then, obviously, the commission itself was set about by Julia Gillard in early 2011 to explain to the public climate change and the need for carbon pricing, etc., etc. Yes. Then you got the IPCC report coming out soon. That's by United Nations Environment Program, and that's I think it's the 5th one. They release it in sections, and it just has to do with climate, and they say stuff about it because they got like 800 or more authors or something, scientists contributing to this IPCC report, and then people are saying, apparently the Earth is cooling, and then which would fly in the face of climate change, saying the world's getting hotter. But then apparently last summer we had the hottest on record across the board for heat waves. So how do you guys feel about it? I'll start with Brittany. Because I feel like, how do you feel about climate change? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's a myth? You don't have to comment. You can just,
I don't think it's a myth.
Actually, you do have to comment because that's the whole idea. Okay, so you don't think it's a myth.
No comment.
Do you think it's reality then? Do you think the evidence speaks for itself?
Reality. Yes, there's evidence.
How do you feel, Blake? I'm going to cut to you real quick.
How
do you feel about climate change, Blake? Quick.
Well, yeah, I feel that it's a real thing and it's a pretty damn pressing issue.
It's definitely not a myth.
There seems to be a general consensus among the scientific community. More of them agree that something is occurring and perhaps things need to be done to perhaps, stop any irreversible, if possible, irreversible climate change. So, why do you think the coalition government, obviously they, like we said earlier, they promised to abolish the carbon tax, etc., etc. Do you think they're wrong in perhaps, getting rid of this climate commission, which was set up just to, ensure the public had the right knowledge, maybe knowledge which was apolitical. It wasn't, for either party's agenda. They just wanted to get the information out there regarding what's actually going on. Do you think they should have perhaps kept the climate commission?
Well, yeah. Well, also, there's a couple of reasons there, because in the scheme of a government, $5 million over 4 years is nothing. That's pocket change
for governments.
Yeah, well, for a government.
It wasn't a bad idea.
Yeah,
but whether Tony Abbott will actually discontinue the carbon tax will be interesting.
Well,
it's also important because aren't they like one of the only ones who think about climate change in the Australian context? Because, Australia's pretty different from a lot of other countries in the world when it comes to climate change, because there was 2 countries, I believe, in the UN that didn't sign the Kyoto Agreement until whatever it was like America and Australia, and we didn't do it because per person, like, we pollute way over the Kyoto limit, but as a country as a whole, we were way under the acceptable limits for a country, or something like that.
Yeah. Didn't you say yesterday that Russia was for climate change?
That was a joke.
Okay.
Please don't. I said yeah. They're the ones who are waiting for climate change.
Wait.
Yeah, I legit.
Wait,
That's the joke.
I hope that comes out correctly. That might be a little bit soft move. But I'm not. Oh god. Yeah. Okay, that was my bad. Sorry. How's your hearing? Are you deaf now?
No, I'm good.
If you weren't tone deaf before, you are now entirely
I
deaf.
think it's because I did that.
That's my bad. Yes.
do it again.
That was feedback. And I apologise.
Whoop. Hold on. It is a great image for that little section.
That's great. We're looking at a picture of and it's a wall and the water's slowly rising and then it's got graffiti tag. I don't believe in global warming. Half of global warming is underwater. Not a visual medium. I'm trying to describe things. I'm
sure you
doing
can have
okay.
an image underneath it.
We could actually, yeah. I was thinking about that. That might not be a bad idea. Unfortunately, we don't have our resident climate skeptic here today, Ryan.
Skeptic, really?
We're not going to mention his surname. Yeah. we'll just refer to him as Ryan. He can be
Mr.
our go-to
R.
guy. He can be our punching bag because he didn't show up today.
Yeah.
And he said he would. He said on Tuesday and he said yesterday, I believe, or the day before he was going to be here. And then last night he's like, no, I'm not going to come, man. I can't do it. Yeah. That's exactly how he sounds
I
too.
feel like this podcast isn't
It's
going
like
to be...
he's in the room.
I know, it's
We don't
uncanny.
I feel this isn't going to be very entertaining because, like, we're all in agreement with each other that there's no... People want the conflict, damn it.
So what do you do with people like Ryan, you know, those hardcore skeptics that just say, well, the science isn't there, but I mean, how hard could they be looking at the science if they're saying it's something? I mean, if they're going to deny something, then it must obviously exist, because if they're denying, then there must be something for them to deny. I mean, I don't understand. Why do you guys think they're so hardcore against? I mean, are they just uninformed, or
I
are they
have no
just...
idea. I didn't even realise Ryan was a skeptic.
Oh, he is. He's
Person of science.
hardcore skeptic.
Shouldn't be skeptic.
Is it just...
It's just what people believe. Like,
I guess so, right, yeah. I
But
mean,
when
they're
there's
entitled
facts
to their own
there.
opinion. I mean, you know, much like everyone else is, but is it more that it's detrimental to the discussion on climate change if you have so many people, well, perhaps even members of coalition government, Tony Abbott included, saying, okay, we're going to scrap this, we're going to get rid of this climate commission? Is that just a way of them signaling that they just want to get rid of the carbon tax because that's what they said to voters? Oh, if you vote us in, we're going to get rid of the
that's
carbon tax.
why they would
Or is
say
it more them signaling that, yes, they are also skeptics of climate change as well?
well, a lot of people are very afraid of change. Like, that they think the world's going to stay the same forever. Like, I've seen screenshots of, like, Facebook updates where it's like, all these conservatives are just so stupid. The world's we're never going to run out of oil. We're never going to run out of precious minerals. Like, I'm almost expecting to see the world's also flat written underneath it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what we also...
They're still around. The Flat Earth Society is still around. It still has members.
I saw a video
died,
the other day.
I think, in the early 20th century, along with its founder. But then somebody came across it and they started up again. So yeah, that still exists.
Yeah, I saw a
crazy.
video the other day. It's like half an hour of this guy just talking to the camera, like, with his hands, like it just doesn't exist, people. Like, the world is flat. The government is lying to you. It's like, I just want to slap you immediately. Like, because the thing you also can't do is you can't start a witch hunt. Like, you can't go after someone just because they say, I don't believe in global warming. That's just going to set them firmer in their beliefs.
Yeah, my point is, if there's if there's facts, you can't argue with that.
Yeah. Well, I
don't know how.
I think
Yeah.
people are also arguing the sources of the facts. Like, well, this
Oh
research
yeah, I'm
also
not saying
proved-
I'm educating where the facts come from.
Yeah, well, it's like...
But if they're there, people should believe them. You don't
Yeah.
just ignore these things.
Yeah, no, they're arguing like, oh, well, that experiment was completely wrong and designed to skew the argument in your favour. This different experiment proved that it's not doing it, and it just goes backwards and forth, and there comes the argument.
Right. Rod?
Oh, I was looking something up.
Over to you.
Leon Foucault? How do you pronounce it? Foucault? That guy?
For gold. Oh, that's the The pendulum dude.
You just read that.
Indeed he was. Jean Bernard
It was his birthday the other day.
That's right. He was born 1819.
You got that from Google.
And
Fucking A.
he was a French physicist best known for his demonstration of a pendulum, a device demonstrating the effect of the Earth's rotation. So it's funny, you still got Flat Earth Society people out there,
Yeah.
but then you got this guy who actually proved it.
At the science portion of the museum, there's the clock that you have, where if you have a pendulum and just set it swinging, if it's on like a circular mount or circular hanging, it will just rotate naturally throughout the entire day.